A momentary lapse led me into the realm of heart-wrenching narratives. The system proclaimed that once the heartache value reached its zenith, I could return to my original world. I nodded thoughtfully in acknowledgement. Before Ningsheng could inquire if I might lend my ancestral bracelet to his childhood sweetheart for the sake of appearances, I preemptively spoke. Lu Chuan visited our home today and inadvertently shattered the wish jar in the master bedroom. He did not do it intentionally, so you ought not to hold it against him. After all, he is merely my neighborly brother. Seeing his evident discomfort, I decided to gift him the set of steel pens from the study, to spare him the burden of guilt. The wish jar was a birthday gift from Ningsheng, commemorating my 20th year, containing 999 stars crafted painstakingly over the course of a month. The set of pens was a custom-made wedding anniversary gift from me to him. Ningsheng's complexion turned as pale as parchment, his gaze a mixture of shock and disbelief. Just as the system screamed in protest to thwart my indiscreet words, I noticed the heartache value rising by one notch. The system. I chuckled softly. You never specified that it must solely be the female who suffers. Indeed, inflicting torment upon the scoundrel can equally fulfill the task. 1. Ningsheng's lips parted slightly, his voice hoarse. Why did Lu Chuan come to our home, and to the master bedroom at that? I maintained an air of indifference. He returned to the country today. I picked him up from the airport and casually invited him over to visit. Given that we were childhood neighbors, it seemed quite natural. But he broke the gift I gave you. He shouted, suppressing his anger. I impatiently rubbed my ears. I know, but why are you shouting? It's just a glass bottle. If it's broken, it's broken. If it really bothers you that much, I can buy you another one. Ningsheng clenched his fist. Is it merely about the bottle? It contained 999 stars of the sky, each one meticulously folded by my own hands, inscribed with my heartfelt words for you. Do you not cherish it at all? You also gave our wedding anniversary gift to him. What exactly is your relationship with him? Bai Feng, do you even regard me? Oh, he's really upset. TSK. I responded with a tone of disapproval. Enough of this pettiness. I've already told you, he's just a neighbor. I merely see him as an older brother. If I had any feelings for him, I would have pursued it long ago. Why would I still marry you? The moment those words left my lips, I felt a rush of exhilaration from head to toe. Finally, I had uttered a classic line from this tormenting narrative. Satisfied, I quickly donned a gentle and affectionate demeanor. Darling, don't overthink it. You know that my heart belongs solely to you. Stop creating a fuss. Be good. I'm a bit tired and will head to bed now. I paid no heed to Ningsheng's discontented expression as I stood up to return to my room. Suddenly, my hand was grasped tightly. Ningsheng furrowed his brows, seemingly trying to decipher something from my face. I maintained an unruffled expression, allowing him to scrutinize me. After a long pause, he exhaled deeply, suppressing his emotions as he spoke. Fine, just be more careful in the future. See, Yi will be walking the red carpet tomorrow. Lend her that emerald bracelet your mother passed down. It would elevate the occasion. Here it comes. The scoundrel has finally spoken. 2. The bracelet? Oh dear. Why didn't you mention this earlier? I exclaimed in surprise. What do you mean? Tomorrow night, Lu Chuan is hosting his personal concert in the country. And Lu Ai will also be attending. They will be interviewed together. Isn't it a bit inappropriate for her to lack any decent jewelry? So, I decided to lend it to her. Ningsheng was taken aback. You lent it out? Indeed. But that is your mother's keepsake. And you so readily gave it to an outsider? See, he knows it's my mother's heirloom. Yet he still casually allows me to lend it to his little green plum. The twisted logic of scumbags is utterly incomprehensible. What are you saying? How can Lu Ai be an outsider? She was my mother's closest friend during her lifetime. Is there anything wrong with lending it to her? Moreover, she is Lu Chuan's mother. When he asked me, it would have been rude to refuse. Ningsheng looked at me with a darkened expression, as if he were a stranger. Again with Lu Chuan, you're doing this for him. He opened his mouth, seemingly to say more, when his phone suddenly rang. He pulled it out, took a glance, and pursed his lips. He gazed deeply at me for a moment before turning to the balcony. It seemed like the little green plum was coming to inspect her mission. Unfortunately, this task would remain unfulfilled. I tossed my hair and turned back to the bedroom. 3. When I first arrived here, I desperately wished to strangle the system. This was the epitome of a heartbreaking narrative. The male and female leads, Having loved and understood each other through 6 years of courtship and 4 years of marriage, found everything shattered by the arrival of the male lead's childhood sweetheart. For her sake, the male lead lowered his standard step by step, allowing the green plum to frame the female lead, ultimately driving her into depression and leading her to take her own life. Only after her death did the male lead come to regret his actions. This scoundrel was indeed despicable. You could say he loved the female lead, yet he was also double-minded, relying on her unwavering devotion while consistently siding with the green plum, leaving her to suffer endless grievances. Conversely, if he didn't love her after her death, he would be inconsolable, ruthlessly tormenting the green plum to the point of wishing for her to join the female lead in the afterlife. The narrative emphasized the theme of not cherishing what is in hand, only to lament the loss when it is gone. Yet the audience remained enthralled. However, in this type of story, the scoundrel genuinely loves the female lead, which is me by Fong. Thus, when I reciprocate his forthcoming attitude towards me, he will truly be affected. One must wonder, why must one inflict self-harm to accumulate emotional distress points? I refuse to engage in such self-destructive behavior. Instead, I shall tenderly care for myself while driving him to madness. Let the scoundrel's tricks unfold. I shall take the lead. System 6. Me. Enough with the 6. What is the current emotional distress value? 10. He genuinely felt heartache when you spoke up for Lu Chuan just now. I smiled brightly. This is just the beginning. There's plenty more for him to suffer later. 4. The reason the scoundrel remains a scoundrel is that he perceives no issue with his overstepping behavior. Without my emerald bracelet support, Ning Sheng presented a pigeon blood red ruby necklace, along with matching earrings and rings that he had acquired at an auction. Gu Ce, this 18-line actress, captured the photographer's attention with this set of jewelry, quickly gaining traction online. After the red carpet and banquet concluded, Ning Sheng personally went to pick her up. Unfortunately, they were caught by paparazzi. In no time, the romance rumors between the 18-line actress and the domineering CEO spread like wildfire. Gu Ce's notoriety surged once more. In the original narrative, Ning Sheng's explanation was dismissive, merely claiming it was a misunderstanding. The female lead spent the entire night fuming in frustration. It seems he intended to explain it to me in the same manner. However, regrettably, he could not find me, because while he was off fetching Gu Ce, I was attending Lu Chuan's concert. Lu Chuan, a pianist, had graduated from a prestigious music school abroad, holding numerous personal concerts. In terms of reputation, he far surpassed Gu Ce, the 18-line actress. After Lu Chuan's concert, the moment I was spotted dining with him at a couple's restaurant, a fan inadvertently captured the scene. Due to the angle of the photograph, it appeared as if we were sharing a kiss. Once the image hit the internet, it quickly caused a stir, overshadowing the freshly ignited rumors surrounding Gu Ce. Both Lu Chuan and Gu Ce refrained from clarifying their gossip online. The atmosphere became quite lively. When I returned home, slightly tipsy, Ning Sheng was seated on the sofa. Before him was an ashtray filled to almost half with smoldering ash. I frowned, waving away the heavy scent of smoke. Why are you still in the living room at this hour? With a thud, Ning Sheng slammed his phone onto the table. The screen displayed the image of Lu Chuan and me, seemingly kissing. Aren't you going to explain yourself? I calmly placed my bag down. It was just dinner, a normal social outing. Can dinner lead to a kiss? Ning Sheng shot up by Fong. Do you take me for a fool? I glanced at him, noticing the veins protruding from his forehead and the redness around his eyes, indicating he was truly furious. I questioned, "Isn't this merely a matter of photographic perspective? We were simply having dinner. The media has exaggerated everything, so why take it so seriously? Can you not be so sensitive?" Ning Sheng's eyes widened. I'm sensitive? My wife is on the trending list for kissing another man, and you think that's not sensitive? Exactly, isn't that akin to your rumors with Gu Ce? Just excessive speculation from others? Upon mentioning his association with the little green plum, he paused abruptly, his expression tightening. Internally, I reveled in my victory. Watching the scoundrel squirm was such a delightful experience. I softened my tone and spoke slowly, Lu Chuan has just returned to the country. Given how long we've known each other, it's only natural for me to support his concert. Being photographed while dining and causing such a commotion was truly an accident. Please don't misunderstand. Ning Sheng pursed his lips tightly. his eyes reddening as he stared at me, rendered speechless. I approached him, suppressing my disgust, and wrapped my arms around him. Enough with the fuss. In just a couple of days, it will be your birthday, and I have arranged everything for the birthday banquet. I even prepared a gift for you. I am certain you will adore it. Maintaining a semblance of affection for the scoundrel is necessary. Otherwise, the ensuing torment would lack excitement. Ningxing fixed his gaze on me, and after a prolonged silence, he reiterated, "You and Lu Chuan, truly, there is nothing between you?" I swore with my fingers crossed. Absolutely innocent. After a long silence, Ningxing exhaled a heavy sigh. "I am tired. I will rest for a while." He then stood up and walked toward the bedroom, his silhouette forlorn. I opened the system panel. Heart-wrenching value. 20. Nice. 5. I meticulously prepared Ningxing's birthday banquet, just as depicted in the original text. The grandeur, the ceremony, everything was in place. On the day of the celebration, I adorned myself with exquisite makeup and donned towering heels to greet the guests at the entrance. I turned back to confirm that the 6-tier cake and the wine table were exactly where they should be, perfectly distanced from one another. Not long after, I heard a playful voice calling out, "Brother Sheng, do you think my birthday dress looks good today? It matches your tie splendidly." Gu Si, clad in a deep blue strapless dress, dashed into Ningxing's embrace, drawing the attention of the crowd. "How old are you to still be acting cute?" Ningxing chuckled lightly as he playfully tapped her nose, allowing her to affectionately link her arm through his, as if she were the true hostess of the event. "Oh dear, I forgot to greet my sister-in-law." "Hello, sister-in-law. Thank you for arranging such a grand birthday banquet for Brother Sheng. It must have been exhausting for you." I smiled, crossing my arms as I teasingly scrutinized her. "Sister-in-law, why do you look at me like that? Did I say something wrong?" Gu Si pouted, feigning innocence. Just as Ningxing was about to speak on her behalf, I interjected, "Of course not. I merely find your dress quite lovely. It suits you well. Such a pity, though, that you intend to plunge it into the cake." Suddenly, a gentle voice called from behind, "Fong Fong." Turning around, I found Lu Chuan standing there. Ningxing's expression stiffened. "You invited him?" "Yes, is there a problem?" I beamed with delight, eagerly approaching him, and, in front of Ningxing and Gu Si, opened my arms to give him a big hug. Afterward, I even stood on my tiptoes to affectionately lean my head against Lu Chuan's cheek. My wrist was immediately grasped tightly. I was abruptly pulled back several steps by a force. Ningxing had completely shed his earlier relaxed demeanor, his expression astonished, and his brow furrowed tightly. "By Fong, what are you doing?" I feigned confusion. "What do you mean? What am I doing? You hug and embrace another man right in front of me, and you say there is nothing between you two? Enough, Ningxing." I reproached him softly. "Must you think so sordidly? This is merely a customary greeting between Lu Chuan and me from when he was abroad. Do not think so poorly of him. Moreover, this is your birthday banquet. Do you really wish to make a scene and embarrass yourself in such a setting?" Ningxing was momentarily taken aback by my sharp words. His lips trembled, and his voice dropped. "I think sordid thoughts? Which man can tolerate his wife being so intimate with another? Do you not care about my feelings at all? What does it matter?" I scoffed, my gaze drifting toward Gu Si, who was still linked to Ningxing's arm. "If that is the case, then you and she are also embracing right in front of me. Have I said anything?" Ningxing paused, and after a while, he awkwardly disentangled Gu Si's hand from his arm. "That's different. Si treats me like a brother. I consider Lu Chuan a brother too. Is that not the same?" Ningxing was rendered speechless by my retort. Observing the situation, Gu Si leaned in closer, shaking Ningxing's arm as she spoke in a high-pitched voice. "Brother Sheng, don't be angry. Sister-in-law was just saying hello. Surely, she wouldn't have any romantic entanglements with another man." Her tone dripped with sarcasm. Yet I played along. "Did you hear that? Si understands better than you do. I truly don't know what you're so concerned about." Perhaps taken aback by my response, Gu Si fell silent. Ningxing's displeasure grew. He shot me a heavy glare, then shook off Gu Si's hand and silently walked away. How amusing. Once Ningxing left, Gu Si dropped her pretense. She suddenly leaned closer to me and whispered, "I thought you had the prowess to capture Brother Sheng's heart. Who knew you were just this? Tell me, who do you think Brother Sheng values more, you or me?" I chuckled lightly. "Does that even need guessing? He cares for me quite a bit. Just look at how jealous he gets when I greet someone. It's truly comical. Gusi was so enraged that her smile twisted into a grimace. She gritted her teeth. Is that so? Then let us wait and see. With that, she lifted her skirt and dashed toward Ningsheng. Lu Chuan took a couple of steps forward to stand beside me. Are you all right? I'm fine. I lifted a nearby glass of red wine, gently swirling it. Soon, we'll be able to put on a good show. In every tale of tormenting women, the subplot of the female antagonist scheming against the protagonist is inevitable. And tonight's banquet marked the climax of the male lead's torment of the female lead. The plot was rather cliched. Feigned pushes, teabagging for sympathy, the male lead's fury, and forced apologies. This typical storyline was already etched in my mind. I was merely waiting. Ningsheng conversed with friends up ahead while Gusi sauntered over to me. Sister-in-law, Brother Sheng, hasn't he spoken to you all evening? It seems he is truly angry. Do you think he might hate you now? I raised an eyebrow, encouraging her to continue. If Brother Sheng knew you were bullying me, would he hate you even more? Should we try it out? Before I could respond, Gusi's expression suddenly shifted. She gasped and pretended to be pushed, leaning back toward the cake. I merely observed, neither helping her nor dodging. Just as she was about to make contact with the cake, Lu Chuan suddenly appeared beside her, using his body to push her back. Gusi was abruptly straightened from her precarious position, while Lu Chuan stumbled sideways toward the wine table. A loud crash echoed as all the wine glasses fell to the ground, shattering into pieces. Lu Chuan fell to the ground, a long cut appearing on the back of his hand from the shards. Lu Chuan! I exclaimed in alarm, rushing toward him, inadvertently pushing past the concerned Ningsheng. Upon seeing Lu Chuan's bloodied hand, I clenched my fists, rage surging within me as I turned to Ningsheng. When did your jealousy become so pronounced? I have already told you that Lu Chuan and I are merely friends. Why resort to such petty tactics? My barrage of questions left both Ningsheng and Gusi bewildered. What do you mean, what I orchestrated? Was it not your suggestion? Gusi has no vendetta against Lu Chuan. Why would she deliberately push him? ISNT it simply because you disapprove of him that you had Gusi act this way. My anger intensified as I confronted them aggressively. The long-absent system suddenly materialized. You truly are a remarkable talent. You've turned the tables on them, making them suffer. I responded with a playful lilt. On the floor, Lu Chuan grasped my hand, blood streaming from his injuries. Fong, don't blame them. It's my fault for being careless. How can you say you're fine? I exclaimed, anxiety etched on my face. Your hands are meant for playing the piano. With injuries like these, how can you still hold a concert? Gusi was completely unprepared for the unfolding situation, merely insisting it wasn't his fault. I turned to admonish him sharply. Silence. Then I directed my stern gaze at Ningsheng, commanding, apologize to Lu Chuan. The system chimed in. Impressive. The heart-wrenching value is rapidly escalating. Ningsheng, pale and incredulous, retorted, I did nothing, and you expect me to apologize to him? By Fong, today is my birthday party. You want me to apologize to your childhood friend in front of everyone? My expression was one of exasperation. When one has done wrong, an apology is warranted. How can you not grasp such a simple principle? All eyes were drawn to us. Ningsheng's fists were clenched tightly, devoid of color, his neck taut, his eyes red-rimmed. And he remained silent for a lengthy moment. Lu Chuan's hand continued to bleed profusely. In a fit of urgency, I tore a corner of my gown to wrap around Lu Chuan's hand. No, this bleeding is excessive. You must go to the hospital. It's just a minor injury. After all, it's Ningsheng's birthday party. How can it be minor? Do you not wish to play the piano anymore? Come, let us go to the hospital. With that, I disregarded Ningsheng's furious gaze and took Lu Chuan's other uninjured hand, leading him out of the banquet hall. As I passed Ningsheng, I intentionally shouldered him with force, causing him to stagger and clutch the table for support, presenting the image of a heartless, unfeeling traitor. The system noted. Heart-wrenching value has reached 50. Did you see Ningsheng's expression? He looks as though he is about to shatter. Deservedly so. Does it feel good? I call this move preemptive strike. Whether I feel good is secondary, but I know you revel in this. Indeed. I could easily perform this role of the vengeful woman tormenting the scornful man for another 80 episodes. In truth, Lu Chuan's injuries were indeed minor. They merely appeared alarming. I remarked on how he was truly capable of inflicting such harm upon himself, suggesting he was somewhat aware of his limits. The treatment for his wounds was swift. Yet I deliberately lingered in the hospital for an additional half-hour, even witnessing him post on social media about my accompanying him to the hospital. The system indicated another rise in heart-wrenching value by 5. I smiled subtly. This plot twist was rather delightful. By the time I returned home, it was nearly 10 o'clock. Ning Sheng had not retreated to his room, but sat despondently in the living room, his head bowed. The air was thick with the acrid scent of smoke, mingled with alcohol, a most unpleasant combination. I cleared my throat softly and approached him, feigning a sigh of exasperation. You really overstepped today. Lu Chuan was invited to your birthday party as a guest, and regardless of your feelings towards him, it was inappropriate to humiliate him in front of everyone. Although I have already apologized on your behalf, given that he was injured, it would be prudent for you to find an opportunity to personally apologize later. Ning Sheng looked up, his eyes bloodshot with disbelief. His gaze dropped slightly, fixing on the coat of Lu Chuan draped over my shoulders. His expression twisted with rage, as if he wished to tear the suit apart. I calmly removed the coat and placed it aside. Don't overthink it. It's merely a bit chilly outside. I retrieved my bag and pulled out an exquisite little gift box. This is a present I selected for you. Happy birthday. Good thing it's not yet midnight. Ning Sheng pursed his lips and accepted the gift, pausing as he opened the box, a bitter smile crossing his face. This brooch must be a freebie. If I'm not mistaken, it's part of the same collection as the watch Lu Chuan is wearing. Truly, he was wealthy enough to notice such details. I averted my gaze momentarily, clearing my throat. How could it be a freebie? I merely purchased these two items simultaneously. That watch is a congratulatory gift for his concert upon returning to the country. Today has been exhausting enough. Let us not dwell on this any longer, shall we? Ning Sheng closed his eyes heavily, a bitter smile lingering. Bai Fong, don't you think you've changed? Of course, I had changed. I was now a character in a novel. Otherwise, it would be the original heroine sitting alone in the living room, sorrowful and shedding tears. Ning Sheng spoke slowly. You used to worry about me getting hurt. Even a scraped knee would send you into a panic. Do you remember that night when I had a stomach ache? It was just a case of gastroenteritis, yet you insisted on dragging me to the hospital. Seeing me frown made you cry, and from that day on, you would never let me order takeout if you could cook. And on our second anniversary, I crafted 999 starry flowers for you. You cried for a long time, burying your face in my chest, vowing to cherish those 999 love declarations forever, to reminisce about our love story with our children and grandchildren when we grow old. We have journeyed through so much together, from having nothing to achieving success. Why have you changed? You no longer worry about me. Instead, you wear another man's coat upon returning home. Bai Fong, do you truly still love me? Love? Not a chance. It would be foolish to love you. Scoundrels are like this. They do not feel pain until the whip strikes them directly. In the original narrative, Ning Sheng often stood by Gu Si's side, breaking the heroine's heart, and she had openly confronted him about it. Yet what had Ning Sheng said? He claimed she was merely idle at home, concocting unfounded suspicions, a bore and pretentious. Now he felt wronged, finally understanding pain. How deserved. I retained my composure. What are you saying? Of course I love you. Ning Sheng suddenly grew agitated. You defended your childhood friend in front of everyone. I did nothing, and you expect me to apologize to him. Is this what you call love? Ning Sheng. I surged to my feet. How long must this continue? I've said it countless times. Lu Chuan and I share nothing. What more do you want from me? You claim I have changed, but have you not? Ever since Lu Chuan appeared, you have targeted him at every turn, lacking even basic trust. Is this truly entertaining? Trust? Ning Sheng exaggeratedly echoed. If I were to give you enough trust, would you not be rolling in bed with him right now? With a resounding slap, I struck Ning Sheng without restraint, breathing heavily as my chest rose and fell. Listen to your own words. You are truly becoming unbearable. Ning Sheng turned his face away, wiping his mouth with the back of his hand, his eyes dim and devoid of light. I turned my back on him. Living with your constant suspicion has drained me. Let us leave it at that. I no longer wish to argue. Reflect on your actions. As I strode towards my room, I heard a muffled sob escape from Ning Sheng's throat. The system indicated a rise in heart-wrenching value to 70. Once the door closed, I nearly laughed aloud. Cry, suffer. The more tears, the more exhilaration I felt. The system remarked, I can't help but think you might be a bit twisted. I smiled enigmatically. To deal with the twisted, one must become even more twisted. Before long, I heard the sound of the front door closing. Ning Sheng had left. In the original plot, Gu Si threw herself into the cake, and Ning Sheng harshly reprimanded the heroine in the banquet hall, forcing her to apologize before covering Gu Si with his own coat and taking her upstairs to a hotel room to shower. The washing lasted for a full hour. Subsequently, Gu Si donned a vacuum-sealed bathrobe, and the two of them embraced and nibbled at each other, while Ning Sheng failed to return home for the night. Then came the familiar scenario. Gu Si provocatively announced her pregnancy, leading the female protagonist to a state of despair where she contemplated divorce, yet the scoundrel obstinately refused, even confining her within the house, insisting that they were destined to be entangled together until death, which ultimately drove the female protagonist into a deep depression. Today, it is highly probable that Ning Sheng has gone to seek out his childhood sweetheart. Drawing from my years of reading experience, it seems likely that tonight will unfold with Ning Sheng drinking alongside her, lamenting his wife's perceived infidelities. Little Qing Mei will tenderly console him, professing her unwavering support. Ultimately, intoxication will lead to indiscretions, and the two will succumb to temptation. The system remarked, to be candid, your intuition is indeed quite astute. Your husband has already become intimately involved with his childhood sweetheart. I retorted with disdain. Do not repulse me. I do not possess such a distasteful husband. All right, let's discuss serious matters. What are your plans moving forward? I intend to continue the torment. Ning Sheng has already entwined himself with Qing Mei. If you persist in provoking him, are you not afraid he may truly lose interest in you and lean entirely towards her, even broaching the subject of divorce? How then will you continue your torment? I reclined in the spacious armchair, crossing my legs, and smiled with confidence. Rest assured, I have encountered many individuals of Ning Sheng's ilk. They are all of the mindset that they may burn as they please while forbidding others from even lighting a candle. He perceives his wife as his possession, and should she choose to leave, it would be a blow to his pride. Thus, the likelihood of him initiating a divorce is minimal. He will cling to this relationship even in its ruin. Even if he were to propose divorce, I would ensure he suffers before that. Not merely on a psychological level, but on a physical one as well. The following day, Ning Sheng returned home just before noon. I sat in the living room, scrutinizing his rumpled attire in silence. His complexion appeared somewhat strained. Where did you go last night? I inquired. Nowhere in particular. I was feeling down and went out for a drink. I chose to remain silent, withdrawing my scrutinizing gaze, feigning indifference. If you've managed to adjust your mood, you should apologize to Lu Chuan tonight. He has an interview. And afterward, we can all dine together. Ning Sheng paused, his already bloodshot eyes becoming even redder. By Fong, I didn't return home for an entire night, and instead of questioning whom I was with, you simply want me to apologize to Lu Chuan? Oh, this man is truly amusing. If I were to pry into the details, he would mask his guilt with anger, chastising me for my lack of trust and excessive concern. Now that I appeared unconcerned, he was once again displeased. What is there to inquire about? You said you were drinking, did you not? I can understand your distress over the issue with Lu Chuan, but drinking will not resolve anything. Lu Chuan not pressing charges for intentional harm is already a concession on his part. An apology is the least you can offer. Do not fail to recognize right from wrong. Ning Sheng exhaled sharply, his face turning ashen as he muttered something incomprehensible, indicating he would not apologize, before slamming the door to the guest room. I leaned back comfortably in my chair, tearing off a piece of facial mask to apply. I never truly expected Ning Sheng to apologize. I merely wished to irritate him. In the days that followed, I maintained an ambiguous relationship with Lu Chuan, solely to provoke Ning Sheng. I could not discern whether Ning Sheng had grown accustomed to this dynamic or if he genuinely found solace in Gu Si's company, as the emotional torment seemed to stagnate at a score of 85. The system expressed concern. You must devise a new strategy. Your previous methods have ceased to affect Ning Sheng, and if the task fails, we shall both face dire consequences. I elegantly stretched, replying, why the urgency? There are still captivating performances yet to unfold. After all, the pregnant mistress had yet to make her appearance. Moreover, I had not yet presented the evidence I had gathered against Ning Sheng to the authorities. Just as I contemplated this, the doorbell rang. "Look, the show has arrived," I remarked. Indeed, standing at the door was the radiant Gu Si, who, much like in the original text, assumed the role of the household's mistress. She sauntered in, plopping herself onto the sofa and tossing a report into my lap. I discreetly activated my recording device, feigning surprise as I picked up the report and furrowed my brow. What does this mean? The literal interpretation of the report: I am pregnant. I pinched my thigh harshly to infuse my voice with tremors of pain. Is it Ning Sheng's? Of course, otherwise, why would I seek you out? Good sister-in-law. Impossible. I refuse to believe it. Ning Sheng has stated he regards you as a sister. You must be deceiving me. Is that so? Do you genuinely believe such a fraternal sentiment? Gu Si laughed derisively. On the night of Brother Sheng's birthday, he did not return home. Care to guess who he was with? I opted for silence. You truly are oblivious. Brother Sheng has been frequenting my place, and you failed to notice. I had hoped you would proactively suggest a divorce, but it seems you are rather inept, leaving it to me to remind you. What I mean to convey is clear. My child will be the legitimate heir of the Ning family and cannot be relegated to the status of an illegitimate child. Therefore, I must trouble you, Madam Ning, to accommodate me. I was genuinely taken aback. The legitimate heir? Was she a remnant of feudalism? I internally berated her 10 times over before speaking in a low voice. This is merely a report. It can easily be fabricated. Even if you are indeed pregnant, how can I ascertain that this child is Ning Sheng's? I reiterate, I've been married to Ning Sheng for 4 years. I refuse to believe he would betray me. Gu Si, taken aback by my disbelief, abruptly stood. Fine, if you do not believe me, I have ways to make you believe. Take a look at this. She produced a video from her phone and thrust it before me. The footage revealed 2 naked figures, their moans unmistakably audible. I gasped, my eyes widening. The video played for half a minute. Now do you believe? My voice trembled further, largely from repulsion. You, actually. How could Ning Sheng do this to me? I dramatically wept, channeling my inner Zhen Huan. Gu Si, satisfied with the display, remarked, the evidence is before you. Brother Sheng is mine now. I advise you to relinquish your position sooner rather than later. I have no intention of waiting too long. With that, she strode out with a sense of triumph, clutching her bag. In truth, I have always found Gu Si rather foolish. Regardless of her status as a minor celebrity, she openly flaunted her role as a mistress and dared to provoke the legitimate wife. The online populace, ever eager for gossip, would undoubtedly take an interest. In the original text, the female protagonist maintained a low profile, seldom revealing her identity on social media. Ning Sheng had also never publicly acknowledged his marriage, so when Gu Si and Ning Sheng appeared close, the onlookers merely perceived them as a compatible pair. Thus, when I uploaded the recording online, accompanied by our marriage certificate and a lengthy narrative aimed at garnering sympathy, vehemently accusing Gu Si of infringing upon another's marriage, it garnered immense attention without the need for paid promotion, swiftly ascending to the top of trending topics, marked with a vivid, explosive label. Gu Si was left dumbfounded. She never anticipated that I would so brazenly expose our situation to the public eye. According to the system, she confronted Ning Sheng, weeping and wailing, her agitation inducing a miscarriage, necessitating hospitalization for fetal preservation. Along the way, she was relentlessly pursued by paparazzi, further solidifying her status as a mistress. During this time, Ning Sheng called me over 40 times, yet I chose to ignore every single one. Anticipating his words, I could easily guess he would accuse me of being heartless and venomous, even if he were to commit the same transgressions as countless men before him. I ought not to be so merciless as to deny him any semblance of salvation. Alas, I have neither the time nor inclination to indulge in his futile drivel. After all, I am in the midst of concocting a grand scheme. Hee. 3 days later, Gu Si's pregnancy stabilized. Ning Sheng finally found the opportunity to confront me. Yet I was neither at home nor at work. Instead, I resided in Lu Chuan's private piano room, where he regularly practiced. It took Ning Sheng considerable effort to track me down, a fact I had intentionally facilitated. I inquired of the system, where is Ning Sheng now? Has he ascended the stairs? The system responded, he just exited the staircase and is nearing the door. You may commence your performance. Clearing my throat, I immediately assumed my role, gazing at Lu Chuan with profound affection as I proclaimed, my deep feelings for Ning Sheng are merely a facade. How could he possibly compare to you? Had it not been for your departure abroad, he would never have stood a chance. It was merely that among my many admirers, he was the most fervent. Have you not noticed? His smile mirrors yours, complete with a dimple. Every time I see him, I am reminded of you. You stated you would not return, leaving me no choice but to settle for marriage with him. Had you returned sooner, everything would be different. Gusi? I harbor no anger. I am utterly indifferent to her relationship with Ning Sheng. My sole concern is the women who still linger by your side. Yet, I must express my gratitude to Gusi. She is truly foolish, presenting me with the opportunity to propose a divorce to Ning Sheng. Now, he is the one at fault, allowing me to not only rid myself of him, but also claim a substantial portion of his wealth. Once I am rid of him, I shall marry you with his fortune, if you will have me. With a resounding crash, the door was forcefully kicked open. Ning Sheng stood there, as pale as a ghost, his eyes bulging, and his lips trembling violently. Each word he spat was laced with venom. Bai Fong, is what you said true? For all these years, have you truly regarded me as a mere substitute? Our gazes locked in an instant of silence. Lu Chuan was the first to rise from the piano, positioning himself protectively in front of me. Ning Sheng ground his teeth, his expression one of murderous rage. After a moment of appropriate astonishment, I let out a mocking laugh and stood beside Lu Chuan, my tone icy. Since you have heard everything, I have nothing left to conceal. Indeed, it is exactly as you heard. Ning Sheng was driven to fury. He could no longer contain his emotions. Bellowing with a heart-wrenching scream, I have poured my heart and soul into our relationship for over a decade, only to discover you have been toying with me all along. Is it truly so amusing to manipulate my feelings? I feigned confusion. Why are you so enraged? Did you not also take up with Gusi? You even have a child together. What right do you have to accuse me? Oh, and by the way, on the night of your birthday celebration, you claimed to have gone out. I, too, was not at home that evening. I affectionately looped my arm through Lu Chuan's, leaning in closely and squinting my eyes. Can you guess who I was with? Ning Sheng was completely unhinged by my provocations. He raised his fist, eyes bloodshot with fury, charging toward Lu Chuan. Fortunately, though Lu Chuan was a musician, he was no weakling. He deftly evaded Ning Sheng's erratic punches and sent him sprawling a meter away with a single kick. Ning Sheng lay on the ground for what felt like an eternity before he managed to rise, his body contorted in agony, his features creased in distress. Laughter bubbled up from my chest. The system chimed in, "Tone it down. Even the wicked female antagonist doesn't laugh as brightly as you." Of course, my amusement stemmed from sheer enjoyment. If the narrative of tormenting women could unfold in such a manner, the medical profession would surely witness fewer cases of mammary gland hyperplasia. I asked, what is the heart-wrenching value now? 95. Excellent. Just one final blow remained. Ning Sheng, gripping the door handle, slowly regained his composure. After a violent bout of coughing, he stared at me, ashen-faced. I was truly blind, failing to see you two for the shameless couple you are. Bai Fong, do you not fear retribution for your actions? I smoothly retorted, retribution for me? And what of you? You are well aware of your own misdeeds. Rather than blaming me, you should recognize that all of this is your due recompense. And the retribution was far from over. No sooner had I spoken than a squad of police officers arrived, swiftly and efficiently apprehending Ning Sheng on either side. Mr. Ning, we have received a formal complaint regarding your involvement in illegal fundraising, embezzlement, and misappropriation of funds during your tenure at the company. Please accompany us for questioning. Ning Sheng's expression turned blank. After a moment of stiffness, he abruptly turned to look at me. Was it you? I maintained a composed smile and nodded slightly. He resembled a caged beast, straining with all his might to break free, though he remained firmly restrained. His eyes were bloodshot with rage. Why? The Ning Fong Group was a creation of ours, a culmination of both our efforts. Destroying it benefits neither of us. You are mistaken, I interjected, extending a finger and gently shaking my head. I do not seek to destroy the Ning Fong Group. I aim to obliterate you. Tell me, once you are imprisoned, who do you suppose will take the reins of the Ning Fong Group? In an instant, Ning Sheng's strength evaporated. The fire in his eyes extinguished as despair enveloped him. The evidence I had gathered implicated him in some substantial enough to ensure a decade behind bars. After all, in the original narrative, he had committed acts of confinement against the female lead, leaving little doubt about his unscrupulous dealings. I had previously stated that my torment of him would not merely remain psychological. Ning Sheng was forcibly taken away by the police. As he exited, he grasped the doorframe and lifted his gaze. Bai Fong, let me ask you one last time. Have you truly never loved me? This question was one I could certainly perform. I composed my expression, and as my lips met, I emphatically pronounced 2 words. Never. What a thrill. Ning Sheng's hand, which had been clutching the door, finally fell limply to his side as his figure disappeared entirely. With a delightful chime, fireworks erupted in my mind. The system notified me that the heart-wrenching value had reached 100, marking the completion of my task. Excellent. After Ning Sheng's departure, Lu Chuan turned to me with a gleam of satisfaction in his eyes. Fong Fong, it has been a pleasure collaborating with you. I released his arm, stepping back to a more conventional social distance, smiling politely. The pleasure was mine. However, there had been no genuine connection between Lu Chuan and me. From the very beginning, our relationship had solely been one of mutual agreement. I had utilized him to bring down Ning Sheng, and upon achieving my goal, I would grant him a 5 stake in the Ning enterprise. No one would ever turn down a financial gain. Suddenly, Lu Chuan stepped closer. Fong Fong, you are quite astute. I have always had an affinity for intelligent women. Now that you have freed yourself from Ning Sheng, does this mean I stand a chance? Stop. I held my palm outward, firmly halting Lu Chuan's words. I'm afraid I currently have no interest in men. Neither this one nor that one should dare approach. With a toss of my hair and a click of my heels, I sauntered out of his piano room, my head held high. The sun seemed to celebrate my triumph, showering me with radiant light. I asked, impressive, isn't it? The system replied, indeed, quite impressive, I must say. I have gained some insight. Are you considering a long-term collaboration? I have several scripts featuring wicked female antagonists. I responded, no need for that. Farewell, this is merely a strategic measure against scoundrels, not an act of true malevolence. My lifelong wish is for scoundrels to keep their distance and for world peace. Perhaps you should relay this to your internal system. Refrain from continually producing mindless tales of female suffering. The readers, too, have their limits.
At most.
Never mind. I cannot concern myself with the affairs of others. I merely hope that my sisters remain vigilant in their judgment of men. At present, the most crucial matter is to return home. This concludes the narrative. Thank you for listening, and until we meet again in the next tale.